Hello and welcome back to Hobbymaker Tutorials. I'm Janie from Janie's Originals and I'm going to start taking you through some craft bookbinding from the very beginning. So the first video that we're going to do is a simple 3-hole pamphlet bind, but it will teach you a few handy techniques to progress you into other bookbinding techniques. So the first thing we're going to do is start off with some A5 printed card. This is about 220 to 250 GSM, which makes a good weight for a paper notebook. I've also got some pre-cut paper pages, and I've just got 5 here, just for a simple notebook to show you how to do it. So as I said, those are both A5. I've also got some pre-waxed thread. Now the reason I'm using the pre-waxed thread, we're going to progress in our videos and show you one of our kits, and that comes with pre-waxed thread. But on our next video, we will be waxing our own. I'm using my basic tools, so I've got things like my ruler, my knife, my awl and bone folder. So let's get going straight away. I'm going to bring in my book hook, which isn't necessary, but I just find it makes it a little bit easier for lining things up for folding. If you don't have one, you can just do this on your craft mat, or if you want to level something up in front of you to help you, that's good as well. So as a general rule, we fold each piece of paper separately. The temptation is to fold all 5 pieces and the cover together, but you don't get quite such a good crease. So as you can see, using the book hook, I'm going to push the paper right up to the front, bring the top over, and that automatically lines it up for me. I'm then going to push down with my bone folder in the centre and out in both directions, just to reinforce the crease. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack it in front of me like a little tent. So every time I fold a piece of paper, it will stack on top, and it eliminates the mess of having pages everywhere. You can also use the book hook to the side like this if you find that easier. Again, it just lines it up for you. I find it difficult sometimes, especially with white paper, if you're looking over the top to get those edges lined up. So this just helps me do that. So as you can see, reinforcing every crease and then just stacking on top of my little paper tent. One more to go and then we'll do the cover. Like that, and then by doing the cover last, that will sit on top of my tent and everything will be in the order it needs to be. So pop that over the top, and that is what we call a signature. So one complete fold of papers, that is a signature. So if you look in most books, even if they've got multiple signatures or bound in different ways, you generally have those groupings of pages. So you can just see, once I put them in together, I've just reinforced that crease. Now, one of the things that people think once they've got to this stage is they feel that they must have gone wrong somewhere, because you can see the pages slightly protruding the cover. The reason this happens is because the thickness that we've created here in our spine fold basically has to push the pages out somewhere. It can't all fit in. So the more pages, or the thicker the pages, the more this will come out. This is the last thing that we're going to address just by trimming that down. Sometimes we'll rip pages as well if you want a vintage effect, but I will show you how to cut these down. Okay, so I can move my book hook to one side. And now what we need to decide is, how are we stitching this? Well, for this one, we're just going to do 3 holes. Now you could measure them out. If you're measuring them yourself, it's a good idea to have a scrap piece of paper and make your own template. But what I'm going to do is use the tools available to me. So I'm going to use my piercing cradle, which just enables me to pop that in its open position, and it's just going to sit there ready and waiting for me. I've also got my piercing ruler. So this one, I've just put a little bit of ink in the numbers on this one just to make it easier for you to see. But basically we have a 0 point, which is our centre. For a 3-hole bind, we want a central stitch and then 1 upper and 1 lower stitch. So we're guiding everything out from that centre point. So this is a standard A5 piece of paper, so it's not a rounded out number, as in it's not 10 centimetres or 20 centimetres. So if you can see on here, what I'm doing is I roughly lined up my 0 in the centre, and I'm making sure that I've got equal distance either side of that 7. Okay, so that means that that 0 is in the centre. Now, if you were measuring this yourself, you would literally measure the size of your paper, divide it in half to get your centre point, and then I'll tell you about how far to come in for your outside holes. So I'm going to push down, so this acts as a clamp. I'm going to nestle my awl into that 0 notch, and I'm just going to push straight down. Hardly any pressure at all on that one. Now, I wouldn't come and pierce on the number 7 on either end, because that is just too close to the end. One, it puts a little bit more pressure, it's more likely to get a little bit tatty as you're using it. Also, if we find that we need to trim the book down at the end, top and bottom, if we haven't quite aligned it, it doesn't give us much wiggle room. So the next number I would come into is my number 6, pierce straight down, and then I match up with number 6 on the other side. So if you were measuring this yourself, again, I would use about that distance, and let's measure it to see where we are. About 1.5 centimetres in from the end. I wouldn't go any closer than that. So that's our 3 holes pierced. It's all measured out nice and equal, and we haven't had to do any calculations. So now we need to think about how much thread do we need to bind this. So if we try and think about it logically, we know that we need thread from one end to the other, and that needs to be on the inside and the outside. So that would tell me that if I run off 2 heights of my book, that would be enough to bind the book. However, we do want to allow a little bit extra, just so that we've comfortably got enough to tie off and trim down. So I've measured off about 3 times the height of the book. It's not an exact science, and you'll see we will have some left over at the end. I'm just going to use one of my straight bookbinding needles and thread this one. So we want it single threaded. We have a long tail and a short tail. Now I'm going to start from the inside for this book. Now with a 3-hole bind, wherever you want to end your bind is where you begin. So should you want to end on the outside and maybe do a decorative bow, we would start on the outside, but the technique is exactly the same. The only thing you'd have to bear in mind is you'd probably want about 4 times the height of your book in thread, just to give you a bit extra for a bow. For this one, we're going to tie it off in the centre, so that's where we're going to begin. So I'm just going to go all the way through the centre. Now you might find for yourself, you might find it easier just to put a little binding clip on one side, just to keep everything in place. So I'm just going to leave enough thread inside here that I know I can comfortably hold on to it and tie off when I get back there. I'm now going from the outside in. And you will find that you'll be turning the book around just to make it easier for you to see the holes and to line it up. We're not going to go back through that centre hole now. We're actually creating one big long stitch from one end to the other. So we come straight out of the other end. You just need to make sure that your thread doesn't get caught up in whatever binder clip you're using, and that's why I've clipped the handles down, just to keep them out of the way a little bit. And I'm pulling gently away from the book just to start getting my tension correct in the centre here. I'm going to turn the book over. I'm now going back into that central hole. And the thing here is to try and make sure that you don't stitch through the thread that you've already got there. So just try and make sure you go to one side of it. Once I'm through, I can remove the needle. And then you can see here I've got 2 threads on one side of this long stitch. I just need to tuck one of those under, because what we need is one end either side of that long stitch. I'm now going to hold on to each end and gently pull them apart from each other. So we need a decent amount of pressure, but gently, as in we're not suddenly pulling the thread. We don't want to risk ripping any of our papers. Just going to turn it over and make sure I'm happy with the tension, and then we're ready to tie it off. So I'm going to do a reef knot here, which is basically your left thread over right, pop it through the loop and we pull that knot all the way down to the base to tighten it up. Then we take our right thread over the left and do the same again. The temptation here for many people is to then cut our threads quite close to the knot because we feel that it makes it neater. Unfortunately, that is more likely to work your knot out. So we want to leave at least 1.5 centimetres, I would say, before we nip that off. And depending on how much wax is on your thread, sometimes you can stick those down. I'm going to remove my clip now, and then what we need to do is, as you can see, because we've now had the book opened up again and we've put an extra thickness, our fold wants to bounce back up again. So we literally just bone fold that down again, both sides. Depending on the papers that you're using, if it still wants to bounce back at this point, after we finish, I would suggest just putting a little weight over the spine and just leaving it for an hour or so, just to retrain the paper. So the last thing to do is just to trim this edge up nice and neatly now. So I'm going to bring my book hook back in, just because it helps me with lining everything up. I would suggest, if you are able, that when you're cutting your pages, you stand to your desk. It's not always possible, but if you can, it means you can move your body out of your way so that you have the freedom to move your hand when you're cutting, and your arm can move to the side of your body. So I'm going to stand slightly to the left side of this. I've got my spine fold right up to the left edge of my book hook. And then I'm going to make sure that I've got my metal edge of my ruler at my cutting side. I can put this up to the top edge of the book hook, which means that wherever I slide this, it will be a straight cut, okay? Now, what a lot of people want to do is line it right to the edge like this and purely just cut off the pages. If you do that, you are making life very difficult for yourself, because if I just reel this out, there are little, almost like little ledges at the edges of the paper where they're staggered. Your blade will try and follow one of those. So until you're very experienced, I would say make sure that you pull back your ruler and we're actually trimming part of the cover as well. Couple of general rules, just in case you're not used to using a blade. We've got lines on the blades here, and I would suggest that when you push your blade out, you have no more than one of those lines showing. I've actually got quite a short blade in here. I'm getting ready to change my blade over, but if it was longer and you were to reel out too much, you literally have no control over the blade. Again, make sure you've got your metal edge of your ruler facing the cutting edge. And then what I tend to do is put my blade up against the ruler before I get to the page, and I use that as a guideline. Now, the only pressure we're using is on the ruler at this point to make sure the ruler doesn't move. We don't need to put so much pressure on this blade to cut through all in one go. We're better to do lighter gliding motions until we work our way through, but we keep the ruler in one place. So I'm just putting my blade up to that metal edge, and I'm just doing a light cut for my first one, and you can see my cover cut has moved itself away. That is kind of my scoring line now that my blade will follow, and I'm just going to keep going. You can see these little slithers that I'm cutting off are naturally moving out of the way. If they don't for you, when you get down to your cut like that, literally just flick them out of the way. Just makes things easier for you. And you just keep going until you're all the way through. Blade back in. Get rid of our little scraps. And that is our little notebook stitched. So it's lovely and neat. Everything's nice and even, but we haven't had to do a load of measuring or calculations. At this point we are finished, but you might want to then start decorating with labels. You could even put little pockets in, but these are perfect for handy little notebooks to go in your pocket or your bag, or nice little gifts depending on the decoration that you use. You could add lace or just keep it simple. So that's our 3-hole pamphlet bind created. So hopefully you've learned a few little bits, but that does form the basis for a lot of the binding that we'll be doing in the craft bookbinding. So I hope you can join me for more. Our next project will be a 5-hole bind, slightly larger than this one, but using a lot of the same techniques.